Hello guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Rune Words. Today we're going to be looking at the rune word Wrath. Wrath is PulLumBerMal and has a level requirement of level 63. And this particular rune word is interesting because it has Decrepify and Life Tap on it. And we'll go over that in a minute. So there are some variables on this rune word, and I'd like to take you over to the website, the wiki, to get a better idea of what those variables are, so that you're not surprised when you make the rune word and they don't come out as mine does. So right off the bat here, we have 30% chance to cast level 1 Decrepify on striking, which a 30% chance to cast Decrepify is absolutely amazing, but it is only level 1, so keep that in mind. Decrepify has a very short duration, and level 1 only has a duration of 4 seconds. So you're only going to be able to utilize that Decrepify for 4 seconds after it's cast, so keep that in mind. We also have a 5% chance to cast level 10 Life Tap on striking, which is a 50% return in your hit points when you deal physical damage. So if you deal like 500 hit points, you're gonna get 250. 500 damage, you're gonna get 250 back. It's not gonna affect like magic damage and things like that though, so keep that in mind. And it's interesting that there's 2 curses on this, so they're going to be overwriting each other. So as the Decrepify casts, it is going to overwrite the Life Tap, which means the Life Tap is going to be less useful. So keep that in mind. 375% damage to demons, which is a rather huge bonus to demon damage. And it's not going to be as amazing as you think, because it counts as off-weapon ED, so it's very similar to the way that Might works. Plus 100 to attack rating against demons, 250 to 300% damage to undead, which is again off-weapon damage, and that is a variable there, which is interesting. And we have 85 to 120 magic damage, 41 to 240 lightning damage, 20% chance of crushing blow, which doesn't work as well on bows. On melee weapons, it's 25% of the monster's current HP, but on bows, it's 12.5% of the monster's current HP. So keep that in mind. It also works less effective on bosses and PvP characters. We have Prevent Monster Heal, which is always nice to have on a player character, although it does not work on mercenaries, so keep that in mind. Plus 10 to energy, and cannot be frozen, which is always nice to have on a piece of equipment, because that means you don't have to get it on another piece of equipment, which is very, very good. Now, the main things that I'm seeing wrong with this right off the bat is there's no ED on the item. And this is a very big downside. So we've got no actual enhanced damage on it, which means that the damage of the bow is actually quite low. And we're going to take this out, and we're going to see if we can land a couple hits and proc the effects, shall we? So right off the bat there, we got a Decrepify. And then there's our Life Tap. So as you can see, we get both the curses fairly easily. With a 5% chance to cast level 10 Life Tap, you're going to see that less than the Decrepify. Obviously, the 30% Decrepify is going to spam more often. And it's actually a good thing that it is, because it only lasts 4 seconds. And if it didn't have a very good percent chance, it wouldn't really be worth using. At level 1, Decrepify unfortunately just has such a extremely low duration. And there are people in the game, like for instance paladins using Cleansing Aura, or if a person has Fade, or if they're using Treachery that has the Fade proc, that curse duration is going to get reduced, for instance in PvP or something like that, and it's going to be even less. So keep that in mind. So level 1 Decrepify is kind of interesting. Life Tap is kind of interesting. The lack of ED on this particular bow and the really high level requirement, though, is a little concerning. The only thing I could think that this weapon might be good for is make it for a bozon, about a bow rogue, so a rogue bow Amazon, and let her use it, so that I said a bow girl Amazon, didn't I? The rogue if you give it to the rogue, I feel like the rogue could get use out of it spamming curses. And that's really the only thing I can think of with this bow, is that maybe you don't really need a mercenary. Maybe the mercenary isn't that important to you, but you would like to have Decrepify and Life Tap constantly being spammed on targets. And so you give it to your mercenary and let your mercenary do the spamming. Unfortunately for me, it's just too expensive. With the Pull, the Lum, the Burr, and the Mal, it has like no rune in it. It's not moderately rare, and then the Burr rune, of course, is much harder to come by. The Mal rune is rare, and the Pull and the Lum runes, while they're not exceedingly rare, I do utilize them all the time, and I just can't see myself spending a Pull, a Lum, a Burr, and a Mal on this bow. Of course, you can make this in a matron bow. So as you can see here, I have it in a matron bow, and it's really not much difference. A little bit extra damage on it, and of course you get the plus to skills. So if you're going to make this specifically for an Amazon, that you could do that. However, I just don't really see making it specifically for an Amazon, because I feel like the damage isn't quite there. It's not going to be doing enough damage in Hell difficulty, and by level 63 you should be around Hell difficulty. So I don't know. It's not particularly a strong rune word in my opinion. If you guys have another opinion on this, let me know. Let me know what you're thinking about this rune word, and what uses you think it might have. I'd be interested to find out. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching, and keep watching.